like P. None but the good shit ever been shit to me. I'm living out my nigga dream. Smoking nigga like nicotine. Faux nickel with the little bean. No Remy Green and Hennessy. Promethazine and Brixaline. M1 with that green bean. We eat niggas like green beans. The red zone like first and go. Click T6 with the first to go. But the still on you like stethoscope. Still on you like kleptos. All my hoes in open toes with their head up like a broken nose. No head up since you fucking joking. My niggas will bust your head up. 10 on 2 niggas, then shoot the niggas. We badass like Boosie. Niggas 4-1 man. Ruger nigga, if it's on my ass, it's Tooie. Nigga, these coochie niggas ain't shooters. Shake my G fam, my seat fam. Fuck you in that bitch, just whip your teeth out. Them teeth out. We out here, you out here. Throw your fucking hood up. We in here, you out here.
What's up? What's up? What's poppin'? Hey, it's NateDoggSac916 coming at you live from Sacramento. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. Hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell, man, if you want to keep catching this fire content. And if it's anything you got to say, keep it positive, but put it in the comments below. And if you know somebody that's been through the struggle and has got out and they got a lesson to teach somebody else, man, hit me at Nate.Dog916 on Instagram or Nate Jackson on Facebook, and I'll definitely get back at you. But be patient because I'll be doing a lot of stuff. Before I go any further, man, let me say free Ab. We need you home. My little cousin, you know what I mean? He be doing a life sentence on some bull crap. We need my cousin home, man. But without further ado, man, we got one for you today. So what they call you, where you from, homie?
So what they call me is Josh. I'm from Tampa, Florida. That's where I grew up my whole life. Florida cracker, they call it, when you know where you're from, Florida, and lived your whole life. But yeah, man, from Tampa, Florida.
Okay, so Florida, there's a lot of voices coming out of Florida, out of the state of Florida right now and lately. So what was it like for Josh? You said, I'm sorry, Josh?
Yeah, or DOCTV813
on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. So coming up for you in Florida, Tampa, Florida, man, what was that like as a kid, your childhood, man?
Man, so I had a pretty rough childhood. You know, going back to when I was 5, 6, 7, my mom was an alcoholic real bad. My dad passed away when I was 7. So I was staying with my mom for a little bit, and, you know, she was on the bullshit. So she was getting high and drinking. So I kind of just did whatever I wanted to do at that point. And, you know, she was with a dude. He had been to prison like 10 times, and he'd been to prison 10 times because he would beat the shit out of her. And, you know, I'd be there for it, but I'm 8, 9 years old. So what can I do, really? Right. You know what I'm saying? So my dad's parents were my grandparents, and they saw and heard everything that was going on, and they took me from my mom and started to raise me. But by that time, man, like I was already exposed to that chaos. And for some reason, even at that young age, like it became attracting to me, like the excitement from it.
Right.
So when I went back with my grandparents, I still went to my mom. So, you know, I was still getting into trouble, and really where it all started for me was when I was in 6th grade. I was hanging out with some kids. We got some weed from someone in high school, started smoking some weed, and we got the bright idea to start robbing houses.
Right.
So we robbed a house of a kid we knew, and we ended up taking some guns, over $10,000 in jewelry. So they hit me with armed burglary because we armed ourselves in the process of the burglary.
Right.
And then the grand larceny because we hit over 10 grand. And
this was in the 6th grade.
The 6th grade, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. And paperwork verified.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
So, you know, after that, I was put on felony probation until I was 18. They put you in some kind of JAS program where if you complete it to when you're 18, it'll be expunged from your juvenile record.
Okay.
I didn't complete that. So I violated probably like 3 times. I went to a level 6 and a level 8 juvenile program.
Okay.
And honestly, man, that's kind of where the nightmare began.
Okay. So I don't know a lot about the juvenile programs in Florida.
Yeah.
What was that like going to a juvenile program? Is it like a juvenile hall or a camp or?
It's an actual like camp program. It was in the woods, so it's like a wilderness program.
Okay.
And you basically like, you're like, I don't know, kind of like a Boy Scout on steroids. You're PT in there, you're building shit. And that was only for 6 months. And then the second program I went to was like a small prison for like adults, but it was like condensed.
Okay.
Had dorms and stuff, cottages they call them.
Okay.
And that's really where it started to really get off the chain. The TOHs, the locks in the sock, the locks on the belt really is what it was. And
so I've heard of that statement before. TOH. Can you is it possible for you to explain to everybody what that actually is clearly? Because I've never really been explained clearly the meaning, because I never understood it from a California point of view.
Yeah, I got you, man. So TOH is test the heart. So what happens is when I went into the program, you know, you get in right when you get assigned to where you're going to be. Usually like it'll be a gang, like a group of gang members. They're going to come up to you and be like, what's up, cracker? Are you going to break it off? And usually most people say yes. But when I went in, I told myself, like, nobody's going to try me. If they try me, I'm rocking out all the way. Like I'm just, that's not in my DNA. You know what I'm saying? So I got jumped and got jumped a couple times after that. And then after like the third time, they, you know, they're like, oh, all right, you straight, da, da, da. And in my head, I'm like, nah, bro, we ain't straight. Like, y'all just jumped me 3 times. Like, so I ended up waiting until like one kid got transferred to another cottage, so they weren't as deep. And I got a lock and went and fired them up, and they fired me up too. You know, I don't know if you can see it because of the screen, but I got a scar. They busted my whole shit open, and here too. So I don't rock with TOHs. That's not how I did my time, other than getting TOH, but that was more in the juvenile program.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, that's just to see if. So basically, a TOH is just basically to see if they can punk you or not.
Yeah, and see if you're gonna fight for your shit.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's not a. Do they do that to their own homies, or they just do it to random people?
Yeah. So like, if you're a blood, and you're deep in the dorm or whatever, and another blood comes in, like they're gonna TOH him ASAP, because they're not gonna want that blood rocking, you know, the 5 if he ain't about that life. You know what I mean? So they TOH their own kind.
Oh, okay.
Like someone like me coming in, and I never clicked up or joined a gang or anything like that.
Good shit.
So I was rocking Neutron, but you know, you get respect. The more you fight, you get respect, and the more wins you get, you definitely get respect.
Oh yeah, facts. Yeah.
You know that.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so juvenile system, you get out the juvenile system. Where we go from here?
So I actually was in a car accident. This is where like the real nightmare of my life began. Other than that was like, that wasn't as bad as what comes next. You know what I mean? So I was, you know, hustling, selling dope, selling pills, the doctor shopping, the pill mills, all that was popping in Florida, you know, back in 2000, 99, 2000, that time. And I got in a car accident. I got ejected from a car. All right. So I broke my sternum. So the thing they do is, So they bring you to the hospital and they pump you full of morphine, Dilaudid, and all that shit. Right. So by the second month of me getting out in recovery of that, the pills had sunk their claws into me. You know what I'm saying? Like, to where I had to have them. Otherwise, I felt like I just wanted to die. And that's really where the tunnel vision of get high, sell dope, get high, sell dope came in my life. And, you know, I was paying people to go to the doctor. I was going to like 9 doctors because they didn't have a database in effect in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And so one day I go to the doctors, and we had just moved in, me and my girl. I was like 18 or 19 at the time, and she was like 18. We move into this apartment complex. So I went to the doctors. I came home, and right when I get home, I'm counting out all the pills. I got, all right, bro, I'll be there in 5, da, da, da. So I'm going out, you know how it is, doing your rounds, man, your clients. So she was with some chick that I didn't know hanging out. and I guess it was some girl that lived in the apartment complex, and we didn't have a washer and a dryer. So she's like, I'm gonna go do our clothes at a laundromat. So they went to do that. Well, while they did that, they rear-ended somebody, and then they take off because she didn't have a license. But when she left, someone jotted down the tag number.
Okay.
So about the time I get home, they come in like 10 minutes later, and within, I would say 10 to 15 minutes at the front door. So
Right.
and we just moved there, and I don't bring anybody I'm selling to where we just moved. I'm trying to keep that separate. So
Right.
I already knew something was going on. So when I answered the door, it was a cop, and he's like, where's Kim? That was the girl I was dating. So she's right here. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do nothing. They came in, they arrested her. I found out what it was for. So right when they walk her out, I call the bondsman, and I'm like, hey, I got my girl coming down right now. So let me know what the bond is so I can post it now, so that walkthrough process will be quicker.
Right.
And so I did that, and it was like 8 hours still, even though
Right.
I did it that way. So I told the girl that she was with, like, hey man, you got to bounce. Like, I'm going to sleep, and I got to go get her at like 6 a.m.
Right.
So boom, she leaves. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning at like, I don't know, 7 or whatever it was. And I go out into my living room, and the girl that I told to leave is now passed out on my couch. And I was going to multiple doctors and, taking people. So I had
Right.
a lot of pills.
Right.
There was pills like all spilled over the coffee table, on the floor. So I'm first thing in my head, this girl just tried to come back in and rob me when I was sleeping.
Or she came in to get into your dope and get high.
Yeah, and that's what happened. She did do that. And so when I went to wake her up, she started foaming out of the mouth and like flopping like a fish. So I'm like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
Right.
So I go to the refrigerator, grab water, start throwing on her, nothing, boom. And I didn't want to call 911, but like, I don't have a choice at that point. Like, I'm not going to let someone die.
Absolutely. Right.
So I call 911, they show up, and the cops had already been watching me. That's why we moved into this place, because they were always like, when they're watching, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they already had it out for me, man, really is what it came down to. And so when 911 came, they took her out, took her away in an ambulance. There was like 10 cop cars there. They all come in the apartment. They're like fine combs searching everything in the apartment, and they find pills that are were too much to fit into my bottle because they were other people's. So they just picked up each pill, and they found some dope. And they charged me with trafficking for cocaine, the sales and delivery of Xanax, and the sales and delivery of oxycodone, the blue 30s. And then come to find out, this girl was 17. So even though she broke back into my house to steal pills or get high,
right,
in the state of Florida, I'm still responsible.
Yeah. So you're 19, your girl's 18, and you find out later this girl's 17.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So y'all all about the same age, but according to the laws in Florida, she's underage and you're responsible.
Exactly. So it's crazy, man. So
yeah, it's kind of fucked up, especially when it's like 1 year difference. It's like, what?
Yeah.
She's the same age as me, Albert. But yeah, okay. So they charge you with that.
Yeah, so they charged me with child neglect for not having my pills in a lockbox. So the girl ends up being fine. I go to jail. I'm in jail now fighting for the trafficking, the sales and delivery charges. In our area, I got like the best attorney I could get. So he got a lot of those dropped down to just simple possession charges, and then a delivery charge and a sale of a controlled substance. So it didn't fall under the statute of trafficking, which is mandatory.
Right.
And the girl that was hanging out with us that I didn't even know, she ended up finding me on Facebook or MySpace, I think it was at that time. So she's like, I'll do whatever I can. I came back in, and so she ended up going down and trying to talk to the DA, and they just, man, they had it out for me, man. And so when she came down, they're like, oh, okay, so you went in his house without permission. So now we're going to charge you a burglary.
Oh.
And like, well, hold on, let me think about this. And she ended up leaving the county to get the fuck away from the drama.
So to dissuade the witness from testifying, I got that crime, actually. I got dissuading a witness. So the police dissuaded a witness from testifying by threatening to charge her with a whole different charge.
Yeah, exactly. And I talk about that on my channel. That's the corruption within the system, man.
And make sure you check out his channel at DOCTV813 on YouTube, man. So it's a whole lot of information over there and good, positive information over there. So make sure you check it out. So you're going through the court process.
So I'm in jail fighting the sales charges.
With a good lawyer.
Beast, bro. Beast. Savage lawyer. So he ends up getting me possessions. So drop down to possessions, 3rd degrees instead of seconds.
Right.
And so somehow they offered me probation for that.
Right.
I got out, kept doing the same stuff, man. That vicious cycle of doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Mm-hmm.
And I violated that twice. Second time they sent me to prison. So I go to prison.
So the second time they sent you to prison, for how much time did they say you had to go do?
Well, it was a total of 30 months, but I had like 2 years in the county when I was fighting it before I got then the charges dropped. So
okay.
I ended up going to a prison in Florida.
Right.
I went to Orlando, which is now CFRC. It used to be like Orlando Reception Center. It still is kind of, but so
this you're on your way to prison for the first time, right?
Yeah, actual prison, yeah.
M1 in that F1, Mac 9 in that Beamer, smoking by Morty on Lexonics, big drumming and heater, kick drumming them tweeters, shaking shit like seizures, check a sucker like Beamer, hop out, paint your ass like Peter. M1 in that F1, Mac 9 in that Beamer, smoking by Morty on Lexonics, big drumming and heater, kick